Hi, my name is Katie Newville. I have a really bad cold, so I may cough a little bit. I apologize. Um, for my mapping project, I wanted to ask if there is a correlation between education and the number of vacations taken in Europe by region. Let's face it, there are a lot of places in Europe to see the sights, relax, and have a good time. But what if you already live in Europe? Do Europeans travel within their own countries for vacation? Yes, they do. A lot. In this presentation, I'm going to explore why they do that, how often, and if college education levels have anything to do with certain regions taking more or fewer vacations. Considerably more Europeans take vacations than Americans do, and they also do a wider variety of travel, including overseas, when compared to the U.S. Without going into terrorism fears, crime statistics, and financial burdens from the American perspective, let's go right to the most talked about reason for Europeans traveling more often: vacation days. Let's help put vacations into perspective. The United States is the only developed country in the world without a single legally required paid vacation day or holiday. By law, every country in the European Union has at least 4 work weeks of paid vacation. Austria, which guarantees workers the most time off, has a legal minimum of 22 paid vacation days and 13 paid holidays each year. As an American, I'm very surprised. I had no idea. The average private sector U.S. worker receives 16 paid vacation days and holidays. 1 in 4 Americans does not have a single paid day off. There is no law in the U.S. that says Americans have the right to a paid vacation day. One of the reasons that I chose this, or I found it interesting, is that I thought that because in America, the higher your education, the more vacation days you get based on the job type that you get. Um, it just seemed like logically in Europe it would be the exact same way. Well, let's see if that hypothesis was correct. This is a map of the world. I did not make it, but I thought it was very interesting because it shows all of the countries that participate in paid holidays and which countries do it the most. According to a report by the Center for Economic and Policy Research, European countries lead the world in guaranteeing paid leave for its workers. 16 of the 18 most generous governments when it comes to paid holidays are in Europe. I think it's interesting that South America and European countries, and then also Australia, are both very high in how many days that they give off. And then America is 0. It's just interesting. Spain and Germany are among the most holiday happy, both offering 34 days of paid leave each year. And Belgium requires 30. These numbers include both mandatory vacation and public holidays. CEPR reports that the United States is the only nation among advanced economies that does not provide a legal guarantee of paid leave. New Zealand and Australia ensure 30 and 28 days of paid leave, and Canada's federal government stipulates 19 paid days, with some provinces adding in additional time. Even in Japan, where thousands of people commit suicide every year because of very stressful work situations, all of the employees are guaranteed 10 paid vacation days. This is a chart that's focused on vacations. Country of origin for outbound tourism trips of 2014. So I just wanted to add a little more perspective. This is the average night spent abroad per inhabitant, age 15 or more, from the countries of Europe. Luxembourg is obviously the highest, almost 25 nights spent away from their country per year. So, and then 20, and this amount is staggering to me because I don't do that at all. As an American, I don't get anything like that. This is a map that I also did not create, but it shows where the most vacation days were given per country in Europe. I found this as an interesting comparison to the information I gathered from doing my maps, and we will focus on this again later. This is my first map. Some college or tertiary, in Europe, tertiary is the word that is the equivalent of college education, or more per region. So what that means is in each country, there is a percentage of people who have had some college or more. That doesn't necessarily mean they've graduated from college, but they have gone to college in some capacity. And so this is based on the percentage of those people per population. So a smaller country compared to a larger country, comparatively, they could be in the same category. This, what I was specifically looking at was whether education levels affected the number of vacations people in Europe were taking. My hypothesis was that higher education meant better paying jobs, so therefore more vacations. Let's compare the maps and see what they tell us. In this map, you can see that red countries have the least amount of some college or more based on the population. It doesn't matter how big or small the population, just the percentage. The countries with the most, as seen in purple, are Ireland, Norway, Finland, Luxembourg, Latvia, and then all the way down here, that was Greece. Excuse me. This is a chart that explains what the previous map says. This is the population for each country, and this shows the amount of that population that is some college or more educated. There is a wide range among the countries. Varies quite a bit. This is the second map that I made, the number of vacations per region. The purple nations are the ones taking the most vacations. France, Greece, which, nope. Sorry. France, Czech Republic, Denmark, Sweden, and Finland. In this map, any red country is basically a country where there wasn't enough information to create a number, so red doesn't really count here. The lowest verified amount of vacations are the pink countries. Spain is blue. They're the second highest. Then there's Germany, Ireland, which is one of the higher educated ones. So as I studied these maps and tried to make correlations, I struggled. The three countries that had both the lowest number of vacations taken per year and the lowest concentration of college-educated people were the Ukraine, Romania, and Italy. Does this mean anything? All of the other countries that were in the middle for both number of vacations taken and concentration of college-educated people were an interesting mix. There is a trend of more college equaling more vacations, but not enough that it shows a screaming connection. This is a chart of that map's information. Again, here's the entire population, and this is the number of vacations taken per country, Finland being the most. Now let's compare these two maps. None of the countries that are offered the most vacation days take the most vacations. I thought that was interesting. We'll bring up that other map that I had mentioned earlier in a minute. The one country that stands out, the only one that is at the top for each map, is Finland. So most college educated or more people, and then most vacations per region. Does this mean anything? I can't say, because it's not across the board by any means. No other country matches up. There are some that are close. Obviously, there's going to be based on income. But what is called into question is the fact that there are countries that do not have a high concentration of college-educated people that are still taking a lot of vacations. An example would be, if you look here, Germany is low for the amount of people that are college educated. So some college or more, they're low. But if you look over here, they're blue, which is the top, one of the top colors for having the most vacations per region. Also, Austria, which is right next to it, same thing. They're low. They're low for college education, but they're one of the top vacation-taking countries. Just for fun, let's look at the number of vacation days given per region. None of the countries offered the most vacation days take the most vacation based on population. These are Portugal, Spain, Germany, and Austria. The countries that take the most vacations are France, which gets 30 to 32 days, less than the cap but not far from it, Czech Republic, which is offered the least amount of vacation days, 23 and below, and Sweden and Finland, which are both offered 24 to 26 days of paid vacation. Remember that the only one of these countries that has the highest level of concentrated college-educated people is Finland. The other countries have varying levels from low to mid-range number of college-educated people based on the population. And my conclusion? I'm disappointed. I thought it would be more obvious. I actually thought it would be really obvious. And I think that as an American, I thought that college level education just meant more luxury. And I think that is something that that's how we do it in America, which is really making me think a lot, and envying Europe. I feel very little was gained from comparing the information. I believed that I would find that the more a population per region had college-level education citizens, the more these citizens would be taking vacations, this being based on income, more flexible time with work, etc. The truth is, I found no conclusive variable linking vacation to education, nor specifically to more days of paid vacation. It seems that certain countries take more vacations based on something else, perhaps culture, but comparatively, Europeans vacation more than Americans, and it is partly because of the number of given paid vacation days. Ultimately, I've concluded that I am going to be moving to Europe as soon as possible. This is my citation page. I mainly used ec.europa.eu and varying pages from that website, and also just a few others. And that is my presentation. Thank you very much for listening.